This one's gonna be a sit-up sweep. The first thing I wanna do, this happens a lot if my opponent starts to sit up. If he starts to sit up trying to open my legs or anything like this, I want to try to pop his hands off and sit straight up. As I come up, my legs are gonna uncross and sit up to here. I'm gonna come up off my elbow all the way up to my hand. Okay, my hand's gonna grab the back of his elbow, point my toes on the leg I'm gonna roll over, hip forward, pull him over to the mount, post my hand, and open up my other hand so I have good base on top. So from here, if my opponent's hands are on top, I want to pop them off, get them on the mat, and sit straight up. I want to come from my tricep to my forearm to my hand. Don't try and stay down here because if the guy is taller or has good base, my hips won't come up very high. But once I come all the way up to my hand, I can come up and take him off his balance. Okay, so I hold the back of his tricep, point my toes, come up nice and high, and then I'm going to pivot, keep a hold of his arm all the way till I get to the mount. Now I post my hand, bring my other hand out for base. Okay, from here, again, I'm gonna pop his hands off my body, sit straight up. Now from here, I'm gonna hit my elbow right in here between his arm and his body. As I post on my hand, I'm gonna scoot my hip out and away just like this. From here is his arm, he kind of limp arms here. This hand's gonna come underneath, pull him toward me, body lock him, keep my elbows in tight, and get both of my hooks in. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna pop his hands off my body, sit straight up. As this hand comes up, it's gonna come right back down into the bend of his, in between his body and his arm. My hip's gonna come out just like this. Grab my hands together, bring my second hook in just like this. From here, I like to keep my elbows back nice and tight. Don't reach in too far so he starts setting up Kimuras on me. Just keep this in locked up nice and tight, elbows to the body. Okay, on this one, my opponent starts to put pressure on my throat with his forearm. I'm gonna set up like I'm going for a head and arm. I'm gonna use my legs to push him away a little bit, bump his arm over to the other side. From here, post my hip, scoot out, reach over his head, grab onto the wrist. As I start to pull here, take my free hands, gonna grab on the back of his elbow, swing with this leg, tuck it in, so I can roll straight up here. My knee stays tight against his body. My foot comes up on the other side, and I have wrist control and control of his elbow so he can't turn back into me. Okay, so on this one, my opponent starts to put pressure with his forearm on my neck. I'm gonna use my legs to push it away just a little bit, bump it over and bring him back in. From here, I post my foot on the outside, same side I have his arm, get my hip out. I'm gonna reach over his body, grab onto the wrist. From here, pull it up just high enough to get my hand on it. Now I'm gonna take my leg on the same side I have his arm trapped, swing it and tuck it back into my body so I can scoot up on top of him just like this. I'm gonna tuck my foot in close, keep my knee by the head. I have wrist control here and I have control of his elbow so he can't turn back into me. From here, I can strike or push him and take his back. Okay, I'm gonna show the scissor sweep now. But first I want to show something not to do just because it sets yourself up for a heel hook. From here, once I come across to start the scissor sweep, if I don't do anything to the back of his leg, he's going to hop up as I sweep him with that knee and set up a leg lock on me. Okay, so I need to prevent that before we get to that spot. So, and doing that, as I go to sweep him, I hold on to the back of his head and the back of his tricep. I post my foot, scoop my hip out, and slide my knee across. Now, as I go to do this, this foot is gonna hook inside the back of his knee, so as he goes to lift his leg, it can't get inside like that. I pull the arm, keep his leg hooked all the way till I'm mounted, and then come to the mount. Okay, so again, hand on the tricep, scoop my hip, hand on the back of his head, I slide my knee across. This time I need to make sure that this foot is gonna hook in the back of his knee as I go to sweep. So I'm gonna pull on the arm, scissor, make sure this leg stays hooked up here, come to the mount. Okay, now I'm gonna go over a sweep from scissor guard here as I scissor my legs, and he has an underhook on me, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and keep an overhook, but just keep it nice and light. Keep my foot trapped here so he can't pass to this side. He has to choose the other side. As he starts going the other way, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck my foot just like this. Okay, as he's passing, lift. As I lift him, take him all the way over, keeping this foot hooked on the inside of his leg. Okay, once I do that, this foot's gonna hook under here and I fall back. Okay, if I'm on his arm here, it's okay, just hold it tight, slide off of it. Okay, hug my elbow tight to my body, slowly lift up, causing him to tap from a shoulder lock. Again, I end up scissor guard here. He's trying to pass. Okay, as he's trying to pass, I'm gonna keep pushing him away, fight him a little bit, tuck my foot inside. Now from here, lift up to sweep him over backwards, keep my foot hooked in there, my outside foot's gonna tuck in here. Now as I hold this tight to my body, slowly pull up here. Okay, this time I scissor my legs across. He gets a deep underhook on me. As he has that underhook, I'm gonna put this foot in, sweep him to the back, okay? As I do that, I'm gonna let go of the leg, just scissor my legs through and come to side control. Okay, again, scissor my legs, he gets a deep underhook. As he does that, notice my foot came right inside here to hook. As I do that, lift, flip him over, let my leg out, sit through, get a good underhook, let go of his arm, lock my hands up. Okay, now I'm going to show a couple from the knees. It's not something you do in competition, but I know a lot of times in classes start from the knees. So I'm going to give you a couple things to do from there. From here, when you guys tie up, guy grabs a hold of my neck, I grab a hold of his neck. I'm going to post my hand, okay? And I'm just going to hop straight through, kind of commit to it. I'm going to hop straight through to a scissor sweep position and finish right as we're landing. So again, I have a hold of his head, I post my hand. I'm gonna jump through. Right as I land, I'm gonna go right to the scissor sweep. Don't get the position and stay there. Post, jump, sweep, right to the mount. Okay, one more for the knees. When we come in, the same thing, I'm gonna grab on the back of his head and the back of his arm. A lot of times I like to lean this way to get the guy to resist to go the other way. As soon as he goes the other way, I step across, sit back, and take his arm. Okay, one more time. I grab onto the back of his neck, back of his tricep. Okay, I'm gonna lean him one way so he resists just a little bit. As he resists, I'm gonna step across, put my foot right next to his knee. I'm gonna pull on the arm, drive the head all the way to the mat. My knee comes up on his chest. All I have to do here, where I'm grabbing onto the tricep, switch my hand to the other side, hold his head still, step over and sit back. Now I can let go of his head, pinch my knees tight, and fall back with his arm. Okay, from here I'm going to show scissor sweep set up to a triangle. I'm going to grab on the back of his tricep, the back of his neck. I'm going to post my foot. Now as I scoot my hip out, instead of going across the stomach, I'm going to raise it just a little bit and go across his arm. Now as I do this, I'm going to push my knee straight to push his arm out, and then straighten my leg and come back over the top. Once I do that, lock onto the back of my knee, clamp my legs down, and squeeze. Again, just like I'm setting up scissor sweep. Scoot my hip out. Instead of coming across here, I just bring it up just a little bit, come right across the top of the bicep, push it out, bring my leg over, clamp on the back of his neck, hold my shin, triangle my legs, and squeeze. Okay, from here, we show a sweep when my opponent starts to step his leg up to pass. As soon as he does that, I'm going to control one arm, uncross my legs, reach under his leg, and try and get my head as close to his leg as possible. From here, I want to kick into his armpit, swing this leg, and tuck it so I don't land on it. Come straight up on top, just like this, controlling his leg still, and hold on to his arm. So again, my opponent steps up. As soon as he does that, I'm going to uncross my legs as I reach under, getting my head as close to his leg as possible, kicking towards his armpit, tuck my leg out of the way so I can rock up nice and tight on top of him. Okay, again, I'm trying to control his arm, so I bring my foot up on his hip, bringing his arm inside just a little more. As he starts to step up, I want to hold onto the arm, reach under the leg, scoop my hip so that my leg comes around his head, kick him over, hold onto his leg real tight so I have control, pinch my knees, fall back with his arm. Again, I have wrist control, bring my knee up so I kind of bring his arm in nice and tight and hold onto the back of it. As he starts stepping up, okay, I'm going to reach underneath his leg, scoop my hips out, bring my leg around the head, kick him over, try to have control of his leg, pinch my knees tight, fall back with his arm.